All right, honors geometry. We've got a couple lessons we're going to be working through. Let's go ahead and get started with our work with trapezoids. So we have two types of trapezoids. We have a non-isosceles trapezoid and an isosceles trapezoid. Let's go through the properties of each. First of all, a trapezoid is a quadrilateral. But it is not a parallelogram because only one pair of opposite sides are parallel. So only one pair of opposite sides are parallel, and consecutive angles between the parallel lines are supplementary. So again, what that means is we have these two parallel lines. These are the consecutive angles between that pair of parallel lines right there, and then the other consecutive angles between that pair of parallel lines right there, and they are supplementary. Okay, those are supplementary. So the blue, supplementary, that's not blue, blue, supplementary, and then the green is supplementary. So that is your standard non-isosceles trapezoid. An isosceles trapezoid, much like an isosceles triangle, is a trapezoid in which it has the same properties as the non-isosceles trapezoid, plus it also has some extra stuff for you here. So the non-parallel legs, non-parallel sides, which are the legs, called legs, are congruent. That's what makes it isosceles. So the non-parallel sides, which are known as legs, are congruent. The diagonals are congruent. And the base angles are congruent. Okay, and opposite angles are supplementary. So these are opposite angles, and these are opposite angles. Okay, so again, let's review that one more time. The non-parallel sides, also known as the legs, are congruent. The diagonals are congruent. The base angles are congruent. And the opposite angles are supplementary. All right, so let's take a look at a few example problems here. We have a trapezoid, JKLM, looking for the measure of angle K. The way we would find the measure of angle K is that those two angles are supplementary. This is just a trapezoid, not an isosceles trapezoid. So since those two angles are supplementary, K is 129 degrees, 180 minus 51. And these two angles are supplementary, so that M is 93 degrees. So you should be able to solve number 2 very easily. Now in number 3, we are solving for X. So these are angles that are consecutive between parallel lines. 54 and 8x plus 6 are consecutive angles between parallel lines. Therefore, they are supplementary. So 8x plus 6 plus 54 is equal to 180. All right, and that's how you would set that up to then proceed and solve for X. Now we're looking at 5 and 7 here. Specifically, they are isosceles trapezoids. So we got to remember everything that was just said about isosceles trapezoids. DG is congruent to EF since given isosceles trapezoid. And DF is congruent to GE since given isosceles trapezoid. Diagonals are congruent. Okay, and in number 7, we know that angle P is 112, which means angle Q is also 112 because base angles are congruent. And opposite angles are supplementary. Therefore, angle R and angle S are both 68 degrees. So you can try 6 and 8. You should be able to easily navigate through those. All right, I'm going to work through one example on this page here, but they're all pretty much the same thing, and you've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt multiple times here. So let's go ahead and try 9, okay? And then you should be good to do the rest on your own. They'll be very similar to your homework practice problems. So if MNOP is an isosceles trapezoid, so given isosceles, and MP is equal to 16x minus 13, NO is 9x plus 8, PN is 5y plus 19, and MO is 12y minus 37. We're solving for x and y. So I'm not going to go all the way through here, but algebraically, these are equal to each other. So we'd be setting up 16x minus 13 is equal to 9x minus 8 to solve for x. And these are diagonals, and they are equal because it's an isosceles trapezoid. So we would be setting 5y plus 19 equal to 12y minus 37. So you should be able to go through these examples and easily do these problems. They're going to be very similar to the problems you're going to see on homework 8. But we're going to move on and talk about what's coming up next, which is the mid-segment of a trapezoid. So we've just talked about the properties of a non-isosceles trapezoid, and we've also talked about the properties of an isosceles trapezoid, and those have to be committed to memory. And now what we're going to talk about is the mid-segment of a trapezoid. And we've talked about mid-segment before. We've talked about mid-segment of a triangle, okay? Now we're going to talk about mid-segment of a trapezoid. So the mid-segment of a trapezoid, just like in a triangle, connects the midpoints of the legs, okay? So the mid-segment of a trapezoid connects the midpoints of the legs. So if EF is the mid-segment of a trapezoid, of the trapezoid ABCD, then here are some properties for you, okay? AB is parallel to CD, who's parallel to the midsegment, okay? So the parallel sides are also parallel to the midsegment, and here's the truth. The midsegment, the value of the midsegment, EF, is equal to the average of the two parallel sides. So AB plus CD divided by 2. So the measure of the midsegment is AB, the value of the two parallel sides, AB plus CD divided by 2, also known as the average of the two sides. So for an example here, I'm going to jump us right into number 5. For a trapezoid PQRS, Y and Z are midpoints of the legs. Okay, perfect. So that means that this YZ is a midsegment, just because they said Y and Z are midpoints of the legs. Find YZ. So again, remember that the midsegment is equal to the average of the two parallel sides. So side PQ plus side SR divided by 2. All right, so algebraically, we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides. So that's going to give us 2 times 5x minus 19 is equal to x plus 52. I went ahead and added 38 and 14. Distribute to get 10x minus 38 is equal to x plus 52. And if you solve, you should get that x is 10. And to find YZ, we're going to plug 10 right in here for x to get 50 minus 19, or that YZ is equal to 31. All right, that concludes our lesson on trapezoids. So your job now is to go through 7, the odd problems only. Check your answers using the notes and answer key in Canvas. Do that before you move on to kites, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.